Tonight on Reporting Scotland, a driver tells an inquiry of his disbelief when he lost control of his car, killing 3 people at the Jim Clark rally in the Borders 3 years ago. A prediction that homelessness is set to soar by more than 50% in the next 25 years. The sailors marooned on a ship in Aberdeen Harbour for more than a year are a step closer to home. Too many sweet deals? A cancer charity calls for limits on promotions of sugar-rich junk food.
I eat very unhealthily, and that's because it's a lot cheaper. Like, unhealthy stuff's a lot cheaper than actually buying stuff that's going to be good for you.
And later in the programme, British captain Eilidh Doyle is bidding for a medal tonight as she prepares for the 400 metres hurdles final. Good evening. The driver of a rally car which crashed in the Borders, killing 3 people, has been telling an inquiry about the moment the accident happened. Homelessness is predicted to rise by more than 50% in the next 25 years. That's according to a study commissioned by the charity Crisis. A group of sailors marooned on a ship at Aberdeen Harbour for more than a year are a step closer to going home. 9 men are to go on trial accused of a 5-year campaign of serious organised crime. A 24-year-old man has been charged with assaulting the Dundee United chairman following the club's defeat by city rivals Dundee. A house in Inverclyde, which was at the centre of a police search for a vulnerable missing woman, is under threat of demolition. People in Scotland buy food containing the equivalent of more than 100 tonnes of sugar a day on special offer deals. The Scottish Premier Football League is warning its clubs to be on their guard amid ongoing series of attempts to hack its IT system and commit online fraud. The move into a new £150 million children's hospital in Edinburgh will be delayed until next May. The new Royal Hospital for Sick Children at Little France was originally due to open this autumn. The date was pushed back until February 2018. Now officials have confirmed it will be after Easter before they begin moving all 14 departments from Newington to the new building on the outskirts of the capital. The Scottish housing market was stagnant last month, according to the professional body for surveyors. The Royal Institution of Chartered Surveyors says it's being held back by a lack of properties coming up for sale. It also says the Land and Buildings transaction tax is creating a bottleneck in parts of the market. A murder inquiry has been launched following the death of a 51-year-old man in Bishopbriggs. A teachers' union is calling for a rethink over the new National 4 school exam amid claims it is a second-class qualification. The Scottish Secondary Teachers Association said fewer people were placing value on it. Well, let's talk to our education correspondent Jamie McIver, who's outside the Scottish Qualifications Authority now. Jamie, this follows on from the drop in the number of entries which we reported on earlier this week.
It does indeed, Sally. Just to remind you what the National 4 is a qualification which is typically taken by youngsters in 4th year who, under the previous system, might have done a standard grade at a general level, or who, back in the day, might not even have done an all grade at all. But this drop in the number of entries, this ongoing drop in the number of entries, has certainly provoked a lot of debate and discussion within education. Now, the National 4 doesn't involve an official final exam at the end of the course, and one of the big teaching unions, the SSTA, it argues that the National 4 is being seen as a second-class qualification, one that teachers, parents and children don't want to do, maybe in some cases even leading to youngsters doing a more advanced qualification than the one they're really ready to do. But that perspective on the National 4 isn't shared by everyone in education. The biggest teachers union, the EIS, sees that drop in the number of entries as no bad thing in itself, possibly just evidence of how the new system is settling down, although it doesn't mean that the EIS doesn't think that some improvements could be made to the National 4.
So are big changes likely?
Well, a review group being led by the Scottish Government and involving others in education is looking at the National 4s, but they're certainly not going to be scrapped. And I would be very surprised if there were fundamental changes like an exam at the end that was externally assessed. But here's an important question to ask. Is there a case for more data to be available on just how the National 4s are actually being used in practice? Is it being taken as a so-called exit qualification for youngsters likely to leave school at the end of 4th year, roughly roughly 10% of youngsters, as most stay on? Or is it, as it were, a kind of platform which would then allow those youngsters to go on to get a more advanced qualification, either if they stayed on at school or went to college?
Jamie, thank you very much. In the past hour, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde says it's to remove panels of external cladding from the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital as a precautionary measure. The Health Board has identified a type of cladding used on parts of the hospital, similar type 2 but not the same as Grenfell Tower in London. The panels that will be removed are present in 3 external sections of the building. 8 Scots are in action at the World Athletics Championships tonight. That's more than the entire Scottish contingent at any previous edition of the event. The imminent sale of a tiny island in the Solway Firth has revived memories of an infamous murder that took place there more than half a century ago.